So what we have here is another type of bender, a hossfeld universal bender number 2. And the way it works is it has a swing arm and a stationary arm and a pivot point here, and there's a bunch of different tooling that you can put in here. Over in our cabinet over there, we have the hossfeld bender manual, and it has all kinds of setups for bending different types of things. Pipe, we have the tooling for black iron pipe, which is a schedule 40 thicker kind of pipe, and some other tooling over there. So there's a lot of different things you can do with it. I'm going to show you just some really basic stuff that mostly what you guys will do with bending just thin rod and maybe some thicker material. I'm going to show you 2 different setups, the really simplest ones. Anyway, if you have ideas for bending other types of channel or pipe or something like that, let me know. We'll look in the tooling and see what we got. Don't go out and buy a bunch of metal before we make sure we have the tooling to bend what you're going to get. Anyway, so I'm going to start with just some thin rod like this, 1/4 inch or so. And I'm going to put a pin, this pin, there's actually 2 of these pins that go in here, and this one can go right here. This one has a little nub to it, sticks out, so that can go in a little closer. So if you needed to have one that got in a little closer, you can get it there. But for now, I'll just use this guy. And then we're going to bend on the top. So we're bending something thin. Under a 1/2 inch, you can bend on the top part here. And I'm going to put this pin in here. We'll slide this guy over there and then set him closer there. And I can adjust that in closer by turning the nut here. And then we can put our rod basically in there. So I could put that tighter one, wouldn't quite fit. And then I can take this, and if I didn't have that there, this would just, I'd go around in circles. So I need to have that there. So that'll stop it. I can kind of bend it along that edge. You don't want to stick your fingers in there, and we can bend it like that. You can bend it harshly like that, or you can bend a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. Now, we can bend around this, but we also adjust that. There's a little bent piece of metal down at the bottom here that should be underneath that pin. This pin can be removed. This handle will fall out. But there's a different size pin on the top, so I could move this over so it's like this bend here, and I can let that slide down. If you let it fall all the way out, this might fall on your foot, so just be ready to kind of hold on that. But now I can bend it around that tight of an edge, tight of a radius, a tighter bend, and bring it in closer. I can even take this one away and put this guy in a little tighter now. And if I wanted to go all the way around, I can kind of bend it. Nice squeaky sound. Bends all the way around, like so. And you get a very harsh bend like that, or a nice tight bend like that, I should say. Close it up even more. So you can bend it around there. But you can do other things. A lot of you have been making different types of shapes and stuff like that. Or you're trying to make something like a tree branch. You might bend a little, twist it, bend a little, lift it up. Something very organic. Which is, kind of easy to do because you're randomly bending stuff. So the other way, if you have something heavier, say something thicker like this, we're going to bend it on the bottom. I'm going to pull this guy out of the way, and I'm going to get a couple of blocks, these 2 blocks. And they have an off-center hole, both of them do, and they have a little cap. The cap goes down, so this cap, I'm going to drop on the ground. I'm going to put it right there for now. I'm going to take this guy out. I'm going to put this in here, and I'm going to rest it on that cap and put the whole pin through the whole top here and through, come on. There. Whoops, wrong pin. Figures. There we go. All right. So we can get closer and farther from this by flipping it. Because of that, it's got an off-center, again, off-center like that. I can take this one out. Oh, what that allows is for this part, having a little cap there allows this part to slide underneath it like that. Put that guy there. So again, if you have heavier stuff to bend, this can come handy. There's even an extension arm, which I might need. So this is fairly solid. All right, extension arm. This extension arm I can slide into here. Make sure it's still where I wanted it to be. If you're working with other people, make sure someone's not got their hands in there or someone pulling on the thing here, okay? But so I can keep going, but I don't know what I'm doing with this. So it can bend that relatively easily. Again, hossfeld universal bender. We can also heat this up in the forge or with a torch and make it bend a lot easier. But it's a good workout. Anyway, that's the hossfeld universal bender number 2. Again, can bend lots of different things in it. Check that out if you've got ideas for bending and shaping metal.